Started.
Hello and good afternoon. I see the participants are still joining, so we will wait for a couple of minutes and then we should get started with this webinar. Meanwhile, you can give me thumbs up if I'm audible properly. Oh, thank you. Is it? Okay, thank you for telling me that. So I'm echoing for all of you or it's just one person? Okay, great. Thanks for the thumbs up. We'll wait for one more minute and then we should begin, I guess. Hi, Kim. Good to see you, Kim. Always pleasure. Mhm. Kiran, what you say? We should go ahead. I think.
Yeah, I think we can start.
Okay, great. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. The overwhelming response to this webinar while registering says it all. Renewal remarketing is a critical issue and getting complex in current scenario, and agents are getting overwhelmed by it day by day. So we built something for exactly for this moment, renewal marketing on cruise control. And we hope that our solution may be able to fill in the gap in your agency operations. For those of you joining us for the first time, a very warm welcome from Grow.Insure team. And for our returning friends, thank you for coming back. This is our third webinar in collaboration with HawkSoft. And every time we step into this space, this community shows up stronger. A huge thank you to HawkSoft for giving us this platform and for supporting independent agents that the way they do. Please do catch our previous two webinars on our website www.grow.insure, where we have covered earlier pieces of the agency's efficiency puzzle. And today we are adding a next chapter to it. Before that, before we dive in, let me take a moment to introduce ourselves. I'm Devani Patankar, co-founder and managing partner at Grow.Insure. I have more than 22 years of experience in IT and business intelligence. And at Grow.Insure, I head operations and delivery of services from Pune, India, basically ensuring every agencies that we work with gets consistent and high quality output. And my co-founder, Kiran Sathe, a tech-driven insurance domain expert, known for combining technology with real-world agency operations. His insights, combined with the collective wisdom of agents that we have worked over the years, it is what that has shaped Insure into what it is today. We have built a web-based collaborative platform where agencies can delegate, monitor their processes through our trained VA. So the work gets done, the visibility stays with you, and your agency processes run smoother, not harder. And this didn't happen overnight. Let me give you a little context on where we come from the next slide. So we have been working with independent insurance agencies since 2006. And honestly, every agency that we have worked has taught us something. One thing became very clear early on that not two agencies are the same. So we never walk in with the fixed playbook. Every engagement is shaped around what that agency needs and build on the practices that we have refined over the years. And along the way, we outgrew VA model. And today, Insure is also an insurtech company. We have built our own tools to manage some essential agency processes. So it's just not skilled people doing your work, it's right technology backing them up. I will quickly go over with the agenda. I know you all are impatient probably to know, and want to understand to the main crux of this webinar. So here is how we today unfolds. We'll start with a quick picture of who we are, our background, and what we do, and what you will walk away with from today's session. And this is where it gets interesting. You learn about our agent-centric approach for renewal remarkets, the process behind it, and the semi-automation that makes it all tick. A real walkthrough, real process, and real output. And after seeing all of that, naturally, you all want to know how to engage with us. We'll talk pricing, answer your questions, and walk you through how to get started with us, and which will be very simpler than you would expect. I will be very honest with you. We have put together a very attractive proposition with a completely risk-free onboarding process. With this, I would like to invite Kiran, who is going to walk you through exactly how that works in a practice. Over to you, Kiran.
Thank you, Devyani, for that introduction. Thanks a lot, and thanks everyone for joining us today. As Devyani just mentioned, we have been providing these VA services to agencies for about 20 years. We deliver the services via our fully trained and supervised VAs. We only operate in the insurance industry domain, and the services provided are provided through our unique portal, which integrates with HawkSoft. We have been providing services to agencies for more than 20 years, and we deliver the services via our fully trained and supervised VAs. Now, services provided through the unique portal have been there for quite some time. Now, renewal, what we noticed over the years after working with so many agencies is that renewal remarkets is a common need amongst all of the agencies. And it is one of the activities that takes a lot of time for most of the agencies. Majority of the process, let's say roughly 70%, is common amongst all agencies. And maybe about 30% of the processing has some kind of variation from an agency to another agency. With this knowledge, based on our experience and our unique method of delivering these services via our portal, we determine that the renewal remarket can be carved out of all of the VA services that are provided by VAs in general and can be offered as a turnkey service which the agents can utilize without dealing with the hassles of hiring or training VAs. Now, along with the actual processing of the quotes, if the remarket results are presented in a user friendly manner, which are easy to read and compared uh, to merely a quote proposal or a descriptive email, then this service proves to be much more useful to the agencies compared to a completely automated process. With this solution, most agents can immediately feel the impact and will find time to deal with other important tasks within the agency. We are hopeful that we are able to share this with you today as to how agents can easily outsource their renewal remarket activity by taking advantage of this unique service that we offer. So now about the key takeaways that we hope that you get from today's webinar. Just like the title says, the process can be set up in such a manner that it runs on cruise control on autopilot. But if the agents prefer to keep their hands on the wheel occasionally and control it more tightly, they can also choose to do that. It is entirely up to the agents whether they want a hands on or hands off approach while utilizing this service. About the process itself, we have automated certain parts of the process. However, what we find is that 100% automation of this process is not feasible due to various constraints. As an example, let's say one of the renewals shows up and it has a roof year of 2020 with the current carrier. Now we see a clue report that shows wind and hail loss with substantial payout in 2025. In this case, if we find supporting documents or log notes in HawkSoft which show that the roof was replaced in 2025, then the quote is completed using that year. But we don't stop there. We also run an endorsement quote on the current carrier to see what the premium with the renewing carrier would be if the roof year was updated and present these results in the remarket summary sheet that we provide with each remarket. If there is no supporting info available anywhere, then we follow the agent guidelines which have been identified during the initial agent input stage to handle this situation accordingly. As you can see from this example, validation and interpretation of the underwriting information is critical in this process so that the agents or their agency staff do not have to take all these steps themselves after receiving the quote results. Another such example is the interpretation of clue reports, where the claims are coded in such a way sometimes that it's very difficult to determine the fault indicator for the driver by referring to the data alone. And because of these reasons is why we have developed this process, a hybrid process, where there is human intervention for gathering and interpreting some of the important underwriting data to rate the policy as accurately as we can, utilizing our trained VAs, which we believe delivers better remarket results to the agents compared to a completely automated process. After all, as we all understand, the goal of the remarket is not just to provide a quote proposal as quickly as one can, but also to produce a solution that is sellable to the client using all the variable tools and methods that are available. As most agents know firsthand, the quoting process does not really end once you see the comparative rater results, but in many ways, it almost begins there. By the way, for the agents that do not use a comparative rater, we can utilize whatever process they currently follow in the house to deliver the results back to them. So that was about the process. As far as the cost savings are concerned, that's what another takeaway I hope that you get. that you will find cost savings from transferring your in-house remarketing process to growth.insure. There will not be any training or hardware costs that you will have to bear, or training costs. And then we will also provide you with a 1 week free trial, as Devani mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, which where agents can test the process with zero financial investment using their live data. And lastly, as I have discussed earlier, we have this process which is delivered through our portal, and we have a dashboard there which is called Renewal Remarkets dashboard on our growth.insure platform, where agents can have a live tracker with daily updates on the renewal remarkets, and then also a remarketing tracker where there are status updates posted that are visible in HawkSoft as well, as to how these remarkets are progressing, how many have been completed, and how many are going to be completed in the future, in next day or two or whatever. So now that we have gone over the key takeaways that we hope that you will get out of this webinar, let me start with the 3-step easy process that we need to go through so that agents can sign up for this process. So the first step, of course, is we capture the things that are specific or unique within the agency. So we get the agent inputs in the first step. Then in the second step, we assign an expert from growth.insure to go over the input that we have received from the agents. And then once that step has been completed, then in the third step, we deliver up to 10 remarkets to you using your live data so that you can see the whole cycle for yourself. And once those 3 steps are complete, which takes about 2 weeks, 1 week for the setup and 1 week for the trial period, then the agency can be set up on our portal and, so to speak, can be on cruise control if they decide to go that route. Now, as far as the first step is concerned, we said that we will get some agents input in this area. If the agency has well-defined criteria which they use to decide whether to remarket a policy, then we can use it to narrow down the number of remarkets for your book. If you believe in remarketing every policy, we can certainly do that. For the others, we can help you develop the criteria over time using the insights that we see on our Remarket dashboard that you will have access to. So sample criteria that we typically get from agencies is, the percentage of the up rate or a dollar amount, or maybe you haven't quoted that client or policy for a few number of years. Maybe it's an insured's request, a non-renewal, or a renewal coverage change that requires you to offer maybe an alternate policy, availability of new carriers within the agency, any other tangible criteria which can be easily identified using your HawkSoft data. Along with that remarket criteria, what we ask for is the renewal code guidelines. Now, in this, what we ask for mainly is how many days before the renewal do you want this remarket to be complete? And along with that, we ask for a buffer time. See, quote volumes can vary a lot. And as a result, with the number of days that you want to stay ahead of your renewals, we also set up some buffer where it is understood that it is okay to fall behind those many days from the desired date before, when we escalate the situation with the agency to figure out what's the best way to handle it if we have fallen way beyond the buffer period that we have already decided on. And then the third thing that we ask for is about the standard quoting process that you follow in your agency. The reason we do that is because every agency likes to do things differently, as we have already mentioned. And so, for example, in your standard quoting process, what are the assumptions you make, or what reports do you run before or after And what are the third-party resources that you check at renewal, like county appraisal district, etc., to see, for example, whether the home is sold or rented out. And then finally, the preferred code delivery guidelines, where you tell us as to what supporting reports or documents do you want us to attach with the completed remarket. For example, clue reports, replacement cost calculators, or county appraisal district reports, etc. So that was the first step, getting agents' input. Once that step is complete, then an expert at growth.insure gets assigned to your agency, and they do the following steps. They understand the common time consuming tasks, that the cruise parameters basically that you have already provided us, and then they understand the code guidelines that you have provided us in the input, and also gathers the remarketing selection parameters. Then, at the final step, they verify all the credentials needed to access HawkSoft carriers and other required systems. And once all of that is complete, then they set up your agency on our portal with the remarketing parameters, and then grants portal access to your agency. And then final step is completing the testing of the data flow to make sure that the renewals for your agency are showing up on the portal. Once that step is completed, then our trial period starts. But remember again, during all this process, there is no requirement for the agents to provide any kind of training to a VA or providing any computer or laptop to a VA or nothing of that sort. And so now that we have set up your agency on our portal, we start the free trial. What we do is we select 10 codes based on the defined criteria that we have already got from your agency input. And then we follow the agency specific guidelines that you have provided us. And we complete 2 remarkets every day along with the remarket summary sheet, that is, and other required outputs which are delivered to you on that day by sending them into HawkSoft as attachments, and they are also available on our portal if you want to view them there. Now, after completing those codes every day, we have a call with the agency to get some feedback on those codes that are completed, and then we incorporate that feedback that we received into the next day's codes remarkets that we are going to do during this trial period. So as a result, we will be sending you about 10 remarket codes within that week. And we hope that by the end of the week, we have narrowed down the process or fine-tuned the process enough to meet your agency's requirements. And so we discussed about the growth.insure portal access, which is set up after the first 2 steps, which you will utilize during this the trial period. And this is how that portal looks like to you. So this portal, this tracker can be sorry, this tracker can be accessed by the agents or agency back office or VAs. And the title at the top of the things shows what is going on. So these are all the remarkets which have already come in for your agency, which are loaded on our growth portal. Now, if the downloads have come in, then the document or the data will also show that, okay, there has been an increase or a decrease in the premium, etc., etc. And then, the update information is updated, and then the VAs or agents can take a few of the actions, for example, to remarket or not to remarket this code, or whether to cross-sell other products with the remarket or not, etc., etc. So that's how that renewal remarket tracker shows up. Once a quote is assigned to be processed, to be remarketed, so to speak, then we go to the next page of the next step of the portal, where you will actually see the actual quotes in process. whether they are in process, whether they are pending to be processed, or whether they are completed. All of that will show up here. By the way, agent can track the status uh, online, and then they can also download the codes once they are completed with the attachments, and they can also provide us with a quality feedback using this website. Now, the because of the integration that we have within the HawkSoft and our portal, anytime, even on this prior slide, let me just go one step back. If at all you see this, and if you are doing this monitoring and you wanted to see whether whether you need to remarket this policy or not, then there is a link for under this policy number which can be clicked, which takes you directly to into HawkSoft, so that you don't have to search around. You know what policy this is about, and then if you have a quick way of knowing whether this needs to be marketed, then you can just select and mark it if you want to do it manually. If you have already given us the parameters upfront as we had discussed, and then you want us to apply those parameters, then there is nothing for you to do on this page. We will do all that, and if there are any outliers, then we will come back to you where maybe we ask you some questions where the instructions that you have provided are not going to be applying 100%. So that was the next slide again, where you will track the status of the actual quotes in process. Then let's talk about the remarket summary sheet that we have discussed. It's a sheet where it's very well formatted for the agents, and basically the decision making ability is based on the output. The output is good enough to make agent counsel customer that we provide. And then the two-way API integration, which HawkSoft that we have, it helps us deliver all these results to you in real time, including this summary sheet that we provide. This renewal summary sheet tells the story. So now this is the top portion of the summary sheet. As you can see, the first section in this area is the important underwriting information that is associated with this policy. And so it talks about roof year and what was the source from where we got the roof information. And then the second section talks about the current carrier information and what are the current premiums and deductibles and all of that. Then the second portion of this summary sheet is provides some analysis of the quotes that we have run, and if there are any messages on carriers that rejected the quote, then we would provide that information to you here as well, so that you can look at those messages and maybe get some more information that gives you a clue as to what may be happening with this quote. Then towards the bottom, we have a package quote section where if this is a package being quoted, then you will see a package premium. And then it will also have a column which talks about whether there are any savings being obtained on this client for this policy or package or not. And finally, the third section is where we will also have monoline home quotes and monoline auto quotes for that same package customer, because many times it is possible, as you all know, that we may find different carriers for to be offering better rates compared to offering a package with the same carrier. So all that information is provided to you, and then at the bottom, any clue results or clear report activity that we might have seen while we are running these codes will be also included. So this is a remarket summary sheet which gives you a bird's eye view of that entire code. And the idea is that hopefully once you get this, then you don't have to really, I mean, it's not like you are just looking at a proposal and then you don't know all of the information that went behind creating that proposal. All of that is also made available to you on every remarket that we complete utilizing our process. So now that we have gone through the remarket summary, we have gone through the trial period, then we come to the next page where, okay, after that 1 week trial period where you can have full-fledged access to the entire process and the summary sheets will be delivered to you, uh, the agents get to decide whether the service meets their needs. If it does, then we move on to contracting. If not, then the agents just let us know that they do not wish to move forward with the process, and the process is stopped right there for those agencies. And then the agency that has been set up in growth.insure, that instance is deleted. Just to reiterate, for the agents that do not move forward at this stage, there is no money owed to us for trying our process at all. Therefore, this is truly a great way to try our process with zero financial investment and with your data so that you can see whether it meets your needs or not. And now, for the agents that want to move forward, let's talk about pricing. So the pricing is based on hourly basis. It's $12.50 per hour. We do require minimum 80 hours of service commitment per month. It's a personal lines renewal remarkets is what we are delivering. We, the access to growth.insure platform is provided to you within this cost. And then, of course, an assigned trained VA who works on your remarkets. And then well formatted, easy to read remarket summary sheet, which we provide, that provides your bird's eye view for the agency staff on every quote that we provide. Now, if you decide to go forward with us, then you will also be paying a setup cost of $250, which is a one-time cost, only after the contract is signed. If you're not going forward after trial, there is no to you, and we just move on. Now, let me just go ahead and answer some of the frequently asked questions. And of course, if you have any other questions, please feel free to post them in the chat window so that we can take them after we have gone through the last couple of slides of our presentation. The first one is, of course, are your VAs licensed? They are not licensed. However, they are experienced. Second one is, are there any other costs like cost for using our platform? There is no cost for using our platform. It comes free with this service. Do you offer new business quoting or other back office services? We do. And but we can explain all of this during a discovery call when we talk to you individually. Is there a minimum contract period? No, there is not. The notice period is 2 months to stop the service, but there is no minimum contract period. So if you decide after working with us for 6 months that you don't want to continue, then you just give us a 2-month notice, and then that's it. How many quotes are delivered per day? Now, as we have been discussing, every agency is different. There may be an agency which one has only 1 or 2 carriers where there is not much of quoting activity to be done, or there may be agencies which have several carriers that have to be visited individually in their process. So the times taken can be different, and we will figure all of those things out when we are running the time, the trial period. And by the end of the trial period, both of us should have a good idea as to how much time typically it's going to take for us to complete the quotes for your agency, so to speak. And that should be the amount of time that we will take going forward in most cases. So unfortunately, there is no way to tell this because the process is different for every agent, but it would be identified during the trial period. And finally, what kind of an agency will benefit most from this service? I would say any agencies needing average 4 hours or more per day on renewal remarkets should get maximum value out of this service. So that's all that I had for the frequently asked questions, and that's the end of my part of the presentation. Now, I'm sure you are interested in finding out how to get started, and I'm going to hand this over to Devyani to talk to you about the next steps. And once she finishes, if there are any other questions that have come during the presentation on the chat, we have posted them already. We will try to stay around and answer those for a few minutes. But thanks for joining the presentation, and over to you, Devyani.
Thank you, Kiran. And I think now we all can see how exactly that we have taken a very systematic approach towards this renewal remarketing. And so, how do you actually get started? It's simpler. The QR code that you see on your screen, just one scan, and you're looking at Kiran's calendar. Pick up a time that works for you and book a discovery call. And that's it, you are in. In that call, we will walk through your agency's specific needs and show you how our platform and HawkSoft work together and answer anything that we haven't answered in today's session. So please fill up the survey at the end of this webinar that helps us to navigate the call if at all you want to book with us. And we will also share the webinar recording after this webinar. And as I promised, the proposition is attractive. I hope you find it attractive too. And thank you so much, Hub community. It is always a privilege to be in this room with you, and we hope to see your renewal running on cruise control very soon. So this was the end of the presentation, and I think I will just take the question and answer sessions, and Kiran, I will read out the question
Okay.
to you. So one question from Matthew Brian. How many VAs do you have, and how many agencies do you work with, and what management system the work in? Only HawkSoft? Do they prefer PL Rater or EasyLink?
Uh, so we work with PL Rater, EasyLinks, agency management systems. We have worked with EasyLinks or agency, what you call AMS 360 and those types of systems. And we work with quite a few agencies, and we would be able to refer you to maybe one or two based on what you are interested in. If you want to talk to them to see how our process works.
Is there any question?
Any other question?
What about the data privacy if we are giving you access to our HawkSoft files and how it is that handled?
So this works like any other third party that you are dealing with as far as the different technologies that agents are using these days, including CRMs and then maybe marketing software, et cetera, where the data gets shared. It's all basically managed by our technology team with high levels of security, industry standard security, and uh, the agents or VAs that use your information, of course, they use secure platforms, and they basically are working at a centralized office space, so nobody is working from home, etc. To do all this work, and they are being tracked for the security clearances and everything, just like any other professionally run organization. It's uh, not much different compared to any other kind of API partners or any other third-party vendors that you contract with. The similar types of data security you will find with what we do in our office.
And there is another question from Mark. He's asking, does the agency needs to have a rater?
Later?
Does the agency needs to have a rater?
No, no. There is no need for the agency to have a rater. So in-house, if you do not use a rater currently, then we may not need to use the rater as well. we will try to mimic your process as to how you are doing it. Now, if you feel that because you can outsource it, maybe instead of doing just one or two companies, that you may be going directly to, whether you want us to complete more codes, then we can discuss that. But there is no it's not necessary for the agency to have a rater to utilize our service.
I don't see any more question
All right.
yet.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Uh,
Thank you. And as I said, you can book a discovery call to know us further more in detail, and we can talk in detail there in the call. Thank you for attending, and please do fill up the survey end of this webinar, and see you soon. Hear it from you soon.
bye bye.
Bye. Bye, and have a good day.